Hello friends, welcome. In this lecture, we'll be understanding the concept of TDS, that is tax deduction at source. So what is TDS? As per Income Tax Act, any company or person making a payment is required to deduct TDS at the source at the time if the payment exceeds certain threshold limit. So a person has to deduct the TDS at the time when he is making the payment, and the government has specified certain threshold limits that every individual or every resident of India has to follow. TDS has to be deducted at the rates prescribed by the tax department, income tax department, and the chart of that rate that prescribes the nature of payment that a person is making. Now, apart from depositing the tax, the deductor of TDS should also file a TDS return, and the TDS return is furnished quarterly. It is presented in the form of statement in Income Tax Department. It is mandatory for deductors to submit TDS return on time. If a deductor does not submit the TDS quarterly returns on time, then the government imposes late fees or non-filing fees on that deductor. You can furnish the forms or your returns in the form of 24Q, 26Q, 27Q. As to understand the concept of TDS, see, in normal cases, if no TDS is applicable, what you generally do? If Max Limited is providing bill consultancy services to ABC Limited of 40,000, then what ABC Limited do? ABC Limited gives the check or cash of 40,000 rupees, including the tax amount, to Max Limited. This is the normal nature of payment and the normal transaction we did. But whenever and wherever the TDS is applicable, then how the transaction is passed and how the government tax is deposited. In this case, ABC Limited has deposited the amount of service with tax amount to Max, and Max will deposit government the tax amount. Now, in the case of TDS, Max Limited has provided bill consultancy services to ABC Limited for rupees 40,000. Now, in the case of TDS, where TDS is applicable, ABC Limited will deduct the amount of TDS from 40,000 rupees, that is 4,000, and pay the balance amount of 36,000 to Max Limited in the form of cash or check. Now, the amount deducted by ABC Limited, known as the TDS amount, has to be deposited to the government in the form of challan and return. So, he has to deposit, ABC Limited has to deposit, wherein he has to furnish the challans, returns, and have to deposit the TDS amount in the government bank accounts. So, I hope you are clear with the concept of TDS.